Hello, everyone. This is Ian Rego. I'm the manager of the infrastructure and cloud team. Today, I'm here to talk about the scenario where your user is having video and or the audio quality issues. There's an understanding that I'm losing packets. You will see that reported on the endpoint CDR and or at the Rio Connect tenant report. So a little bit of background knowledge on how to get endpoint logs and look at the CDR is required. Other than that, all you need is talking to your customer about the user at the end of that video or audio device and asking them what type of issues you've had. So if they've had quality issues and there's a data match, then we're going to propose a solution here. So let's start by comparing the behaviors and deciding to start. So I'm going to go through the thought process of why we're going to ask what we're going to ask. So the first important thing to understand is when you look at video endpoints and the servers, the call servers, in this case, DMA Edge, and when you look at our Rio Connect service, so when we put that as a group of devices, as in video devices and server, how are these devices alike in comparison to your network devices? So your L2, L3 devices. And what is similar is they route packets from one side to another. So they receive packets and they send packets. All right, so how are these devices different? So the video devices there, they are designed to give you quality video experience. So when the engineers behind the product designed this, they had in mind the user of this device wants to have good quality video, they want to have good quality audio. What is the difference here? The L2, L3 devices, your switches, routers, firewalls, they are not in any way, form, or shape. They're not designed to give you any type of video or audio quality experience. So what are they designed for? You should ask. They are designed to give you the most throughput possible. So when you look down here, um, they're designed to do this, not this, right? So there's it's exactly like almost the opposite here. The video devices, on the other hand, they're not really designed to give you the most throughput possible. You have devices who will have 1 gig links, but they really only make 6 meg calls. So throughput is it's taken in consideration, but it's not the goal, right? The goal is not to pass the most traffic you can through this. Um, so how does it do that? So for our video endpoints here and servers, of course, you're again talking about DMA Edge and talking about a Rio Connect. We're all in a bucket here. So it denies competing traffic at the application layer. What does that mean? So when you place a call, then you ask for permission. Can I place that call? And you go through, even if you don't have DMA Core or you don't have DMA Edge, when you get to Rio Connect is going to say, yes, you can. Here you go, 200 OK. Let's go to the next step. So it denies competing traffic. It will tell you you can't do any more than this. And it does it in a graceful way. If you can't connect, the end user, the video endpoint will have a message, your call cannot be completed, or any variation of that message. On the other hand, the L2 and L3 devices, how do they do what they're intended to do, which is to give you a lot of throughput? So it manages all traffic equally, and it does it at lower layers. It doesn't necessarily understand SIP, H.323, RTP. Remember, it's a different goal. So we're not saying it's doing anything wrong. It's just it has a different objective. And because of that, it's going to be more prone to lose packets. It's the nature of the business. If you ask a network guy, they're going to tell you every network loses packets, but they may even consider that a normal behavior. It's not a bad behavior. It's only bad for people who want to do real-time traffic like we do. So it drops competing traffic ungracefully to the end user from, again, from the perspective of those video devices. The video devices will never get anything to say, stop that call, you don't have enough bandwidth. What they will see is the pixelation. They will see the robotic voice. They will just not see anything. Maybe it will become the image will become frozen. Maybe they'll stop hearing people. So a lot of different symptoms will be attached to this. So minded that you have those symptoms, right? How are we going to help that? What are going to be our next steps? We are going to find out if the packets that they're losing are getting lost before they get to the network, to the customer network, or after. So this is a little bit of a checklist. What do I do now? Decide on a specific call you want to focus on, and then document that. Have that in writing. I'm going to focus on this call because it affected an executive, or I'm going to focus on this other call because it was the one with the worst possible video. So you want to choose one. The second one is double check your symptoms. So as I mentioned, some of the characteristics, um, things like frozen video, I can't hear anyone, it's breaking up, pixelated, things like that. If if you're in doubt, feel free to, ping a colleague, ping your team lead, ping someone. I don't have unfortunately, a long list of characteristics, so I've listed some. So keep that in mind. There are the main characteristics that I have seen here. There could be a few more. And the way that people are going to describe these things, it's going to take some soft skills to figure out what they really mean, right? So keep that in mind. So must, very minimum here. This is our big ask. The ask is for the front lines, for you to ask for a packet capture at their border device. Make sure you pick the correct side. I mean, that's a nice more disclosure to make. You do want to follow the initial endpoint that you chose and ask them for a packet capture at that site. So if it's impossible to get a packet capture at that border device, typically you will see a core router. There are some variations of that. Then get it at outermost device that you can get. That could be your DMA Edge sometimes. Don't worry about who's going to analyze it so much. I will be doing training on things that you can check more specifically and how we do what we propose in this video. But for this video, the purpose here is to start in the right foot and get the data where we need to go to the next step. So we will be happy to analyze it for you, follow your normal escalation steps, but we want to make sure the customers started in the right foot. There are some ugly stories out there on how customers spend too much time investigating things when we had the early evidence that we needed to pursue a network investigation. So let's make sure we do that. Get the endpoint logs when possible. Feel free to get more data when possible. So if you are asked and if you have that flexibility and your call is going well, get a packet capture at the DMA edge at the same time that they're going to do it at their core router. Get one at the endpoint at the same time. Expanding the amount of packet captures is going to help us at the end, but it cannot prevent you from getting a packet capture at their core router. So the must very minimum again is to get that single packet capture at the core router, because with that in hand, again, we will be able to tell the customer you have a problem inside your network or you have a problem outside of your network. And then we can have those conversations. If it's outside, we can have those conversations if it's inside. But that is really critical point to know where to go next. All right, so now that I have your attention, you made it all the way here, have all this great knowledge, let's apply it. Did I get what you have asked for, Ian? Um, so let's take a look. This is a collection I did the other day. Your collection should look like something like this. It should have a packet capture. This was taken from a core router of a customer. I have a endpoint log. This is my source of data that would tell me that I had packet loss. And then I have my call summary. This will have the information of the call I decided to look further. That sometimes can be driven initially by what the customer is reporting, but then you can do the cross check with the CDR of that endpoint. You could always use your abilities with the Real Connect tenant report, but that's I think it's a little bit of a harder way, so I'm going to cover the CDRs here. All right, so opening a CDR, and I made this a little bit shorter just to make it easier to look, but you should find this table in the CDR of your endpoint. Let me actually go one step back. So this is your directory. You're going to extract those logs, and then you should end up with a folder. You go into the CDR, and then you click on that local CDR. You may have a long list, a short list. It should look something like this. I cleaned up some of the headers of the CDR because this is what we're going to focus on. We're going to look at things like average percent packet loss, average packet lost. This is a number count. I lost 182 packets. So you will look at these numbers. Uh, for the averages, if you're going beyond 1, 2, 3, beyond 5, beyond 6%, yes, you're gonna start suffering. It gets really subjective. When a customer asks how much packet loss is too much, I always tell them that always depends on the user that is on that video call. He's the one who's gonna make that call if the quality is too bad or not. And then there are other things to factor in. So the answer is never going to be precise. It's easier to play it at this high level, unless you do want to build deeper knowledge and then get into the deep details of what it can cause and what circumstance, which that's a huge world. We're going to keep it high level for the purpose of this call. All right, so what else? We confirmed it's a problem of packets that are getting lost. And then I have my packet capture. Make sure in your packet capture, let's open that. Make sure the times of your packet capture matches the time of the call that you're referring to. So you want to make that match. Um, so the dates are important, the times are important. You want to make sure that that call that had a problem, and it can be played in a few different ways. I'm sure you guys can think of ways, but look at the IPs, look at the ports. Um, it can get hairy. You can get into a situation where, well, you escalate a case and they said this was a full uh, unfiltered capture at their core router, and when it gets to us, it wasn't. I'm not going to tackle those right now, and that would be a fine scenario. You did your best, and we trust you to do your best. So that's super cool. So what else? So have something like this, call summary, endpoint logs, a packet capture, as discussed. So I hope this was helpful. I'm really excited for everyone that made it to this point of the video. And if something is not clear, please provide me with feedback. I'll be happy to edit the video, add more, build on top of this. We can all make mistakes. I really love the partnership we've been building between these teams. Let's keep that momentum, keep building knowledge, keep sharing knowledge. And thank you guys for all the help. All right. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.